So that cut by the Vietnamese central bank, did that surprise you?
Actually, we did see some positive support from the government in order to support the growth this year, because last year they did quite strict strict regulation in order to strengthen the capital market in Vietnam. So as you know that we have a lot of new regulation last year in order to restrict the corporate bond market. And for this year, they need to do something on the opposite side in order to create more liquidity into the market. And the rate cut is one of the policies that we see this year.
Yeah. Now, Quynh, you know, we were telling folks just a couple of seconds ago, we've got that graphic on our screen. Let's bring that back, telling folks how the Vietnam market has been the outperformer in Southeast Asia so far this year, plus 3% or so. But even at these levels, you're noting it is still trading at one standard deviation below its 10-year average. So it is looking good value, you're saying?
That's right. It has really good value at the moment, because last year we lost 34% in the stock market. It brings down the valuation of the listed companies to a record low level in November. And since November 2022, we see a huge amount of foreign investors coming back to the market because they see the value. The low valuation was caused by the liquidity crunch last year at I mentioned about the corporate bond market. So from the low valuation, we see inflow coming back, and it brings back the year-to-date return quite good.
So foreigners have turned net buyers since probably October, November of last year, right? Has turnover in the market picked up as well, or
not?
It
already picked up. Year-to-date.
I'm just curious. Vietnam's exports have actually contracted by about 10% in the January-February period, right? Now, with and I guess that's one of the reasons why the central bank actually, cut rates a couple of days ago as well. How would China's reopening actually help you? Because of the fact that, the economy, where the tourism is concerned, is pretty dependent on the Chinese tourism itself. So later part of the year, do you expect growth to actually pick up as a result of that?
Yeah. So China is one of the biggest trade partner with Vietnam. So certainly the reopening of China will help Vietnam to have the trade activity smoother. So even during COVID, because we have the big cross border with China, so the trade between Vietnam and China was not very disrupted. But the reopening certainly will bring more activity between China and Vietnam. And in terms of tourism, Chinese tourists account for more than 30% of Vietnam total international tourists.
And they're the biggest spenders as well.
Spender as well. So certainly it will be a positive driver for Vietnam GDP for this year.
Yeah. And in light of the rate cuts, where do you think the Vietnamese dong is likely to actually be in terms of its movement?
We think that the Vietnam dong will remain solid this year. Even last year when the US dollar strengthened across the global market, but in Vietnam we only depreciated by less than 3%. So really solid currency. For this year, we think that maybe Vietnam dong can be slightly appreciated compared to the USD.